Hello everyone, this is Bill Griffin. Welcome to Different Take Podcast. If you like this content, please subscribe, like, share, comment. I really appreciate you watching. New episodes Tuesdays and Thursdays. Today I want to talk about this movement in society on the left to erode parental rights. There's no better example of that than Rachel Levine, formerly Richard Levine, trans person who is quite vocal and on the media a lot. I'll start with this interview that she does with Andrea Mitchell on MSNBC. This was July 18th, 2022.
About transgender Americans, because you're the first openly transgender official confirmed by the United States Senate. In a recent op-ed, you urge people to base medical decisions and public statements on real data and compassion rather than slander. And you spoke to trans youth in Florida recently. Tell us what you told them.
Well, trans youth are vulnerable, and they suffer significant harassment and bullying, sometimes at schools or in their community. They have more mental health issues, but there's nothing inherent with being transgender or gender diverse which would predispose youth to depression or anxiety. It is that harassment and bullying. Now they're suffering politically motivated attacks through state actions against these vulnerable transgender youth. This is not based upon data. These actions are politically motivated, and so we really want to base our treatment and to affirm and to support and empower these youth, not to limit their participation in activities in sports, and even limit their ability to get gender affirmation treatment in their state.
No, you chose Florida, of course, the home of the Don't Say Gay bill, of course, which has been notably restrictive.
So that is correct. The studies show from the Trevor Project that all it takes is one supportive adult to make all the difference for an LGBTQI plus youth, transgender youth, in terms of their risk of depression and suicide. One supportive adult. That often is a teacher or a school personnel, and the Don't Say Gay bill is very damaging to their health.
So what does Rachel Levine say there? Does she use the word parent? Does Andrea Mitchell use the word parent? Does it even occur to Andrea Mitchell to use the word parent? Andrea Mitchell's been on television a long, long time. I think she's really quite smug, considers herself morally superior. Somehow she comes to that conclusion. I'm not really sure. It would never occur to Andrea Mitchell to insert the word or ask the question, Rachel Levine, what about parents? But this is what Rachel Levine says. And leftists have a difficult time expressing limits, but this is what I interpret her to have said: empower minors to make the decision to receive gender-affirming treatment without any limitation. Because if you're empowering children, and Rachel Levine is very clear about this, as you'll see, it's not just adolescents. The term children is used. It's very clear that if you're empowering minors to get this treatment, you're empowering them to make the decision without any concern of what the parent thinks about this at all. When you say without limitation, that means you're removing obstacles such as financial obstacles. So the government's footing the bill so they should be able to get to make the decision. That's sort of the leftist mindset. This is interview was after a op-ed that Rachel Levine wrote in the Miami Herald. So I want to read two excerpts from that. I'm only reading excerpts that are sentences that include the word parents. This is July 13th, 2022. Reads as follows. A new poll finds that 54% of Floridians support access to gender-affirming health care for minors when it's recommended by their doctors or supported by their parents, coming after so many political attacks and caricatures. So then she's explaining in the subsequent sentences why this is necessary for the op-ed. This poll, access in the world of the leftists means it's not just that the service is available to you, it's that it won't cost you anything. There will be no financial cost at will. That's what the word access means to leftists. Most people that answered this phone might have interpreted the word access differently. There's also gender affirming healthcare could, to many of the people that answered this poll, mean counseling. The key word in this sentence is when it's recommended by their doctors or, the key word is or, supported by their parents. This does not read when it's recommended by their doctors and supported by their parents. In other words, the parents do not need to, they need not have any input. If it's recommended by their doctors, then minors can get gender affirming health care. Period. End of story. That is what Rachel Levine is advocating for. Next excerpt in this op-ed with the word parent. The American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Psychiatric Association, and several other groups are listed. I won't go through them. All agree that gender affirming care is medically necessary, safe, and effective for transgender and non-binary children and adolescents. The process is tailored to individuals with parental input. So, all of these groups do not agree. But be that as it may, the key thing here is that this process is tailored to individuals, meaning minors, with parental input. Parental input, not consent, not authorization. The parent may be dead set against gender affirming care, and that won't matter. It's going to happen anyway in the world that Rachel Levine and the left, many on the left, are advocating. You could find that op-ed pretty easily. Rachel Levine, NPR.org, July 13th. This is a clip of Senator Rand Paul asking Rachel Levine's confirmation hearing early February, early 2021, I believe it was in February. Asking this very reasonable question.
Dr. Levine, do you believe that minors are capable of making such a life-changing decision as changing one's sex?
He was excoriated, called all kinds of names for asking this question. It's very reasonable. The detractors never mention parental rights or consent. That doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter. Rand Paul gets to the heart of the matter, and what does Rachel Levine do? Doesn't answer the question. Does not answer the question. It's clear what Rachel Levine advocates for. Who was formerly Richard Levine and his father of 2 children. This is an excerpt from an interview that Rachel Levine did with NPR on April 29, 2022. You can find it on NPR.org. Fairly lengthy interview. The transcript does not include the word parent or parents, either from the interviewer or in the responses by Rachel Levine. The word parent does not appear. This is a short excerpt. There is no argument among medical professionals. Stop right there. There is no argument. Pediatricians, pediatrics, endocrinologists, adolescent medicine physicians, adolescent psychiatrists, psychologists, etc., about the value and the importance of gender affirming care. Okay. There's always an argument. That is a very broad word because that could mean That could mean several things. There appears to be, when you're talking about children and adolescents, a willingness to employ very serious procedures, and the parents may not be on board with this use of in an injudicious manner. They want to, this is a last resort to go to these extreme steps, depending on what you mean. Some physicians seem to, well, let's do this. Let's go. Let's go all out and change your life, and you'll be a lot better. You need the care. But parents may say, whoa, that's a last resort. Let's talk about this first. And in many cases, parents may say, under no way, no circumstance, is this, are we going through this gender affirming treatment, or the drugs that you need to take to transition and change your body, permanent changes and so forth, eventually cutting off body parts, that sort of thing. They may be completely opposed to this until the child's 18, no matter what the child wants, no matter what the doctor wants. And the Rachel Levines and the Andrea Mitchells of the world may, if they had their way, and the NPR interviewer as well, they may advocate, or do advocate, that this is medical neglect, that the parent should have their rights terminated if they don't provide proper medical care. You read it. Rachel Levine thinks these treatments are medically necessary, but the parents may not think that. And who would better know? And for those that say, well, there's a lot of cases where the parent is a broken family, or the parent's they're absent. Well, that's all the more reasons to wait, isn't it? Because someone who doesn't really know the child or adolescent, maybe they would be very judicious in pulling this trigger on very serious medical procedures. The thing that I don't understand is, what is the rush? Make sure this is the right thing to do before you plunge into it. The parent should have a control over this decision and the authority to make it or not make it. And in many cases, many people in segments of society would view this as the parent for making this decision a rush to get treatment for their child as being child neglect, or the other way around. But this is indicative of the left's push to control the education, the health care of everyone that they can, because they get to control. I think this is one of the reasons that during COVID, the politicians are very quick, especially on the left, to close churches and keep them closed. Private education, they want public education. They don't want parents make a decision and having control over where their kids go to school and how they're educated. They want the state to do that. That's what leftists want. So this is just right in line. That's very indicative of it. That thing that I find interesting is, I don't think a lot of people understand this. They will hear these platitudes and say this compassion and some sympathy, not only for the kids that maybe having questions about things. They have compassion for Rachel Levine. So when you see this happening, you may not realize that to the extent of what these people are advocating for, they're advocating for the parents will have no say in these decisions and many other decisions. It's not just this decision. So that's my what I want to share today, and I appreciate you watching. If you like this content, please subscribe, like, share, comment. Thanks for watching.